Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So it's the weekend, that means money making methods are on their way. So there'll be free videos on how to make money pretty easy with some tuning setups, and this will be the Friday upload. So the first one we've got is going to be, I guess, a bit of a special car to me. It's kind of weird to explain, but this car is definitely one of the more, I guess, standout cars when it comes to Gran Turismo 7. So it is the Subaru WRX Sdi Hauserman 2016. It's actually a road car. It may look like it belongs in something like Group 4, maybe even a Group 3, but no, it's a road car. Very special car. There is footage of it out there on YouTube, basically breaking a ton of records, and it's yours for only 370,000. So you're going to make your money back and more within one go around. So you want the racing hard tires for this setup. Also, just make sure that you pick up the intermediates and the heavyweights, because we're going to be using this at Le Mans. Le Mans obviously very open to different cars, so I thought I'd give this one a try. Body height adjustment is 50 and 97. So just make sure you've got those set correctly, and then we're going to go on to the anti-roll bar, which is going to be 5 at the front and 5 at the rear. Dampening ratio compression is 30 at the front and 30 at the rear. Dampening ratio expansion, well, that's 40 at the front and 40 at the rear, so just ensure you've got them. I believe that's a standard for them. Natural frequency is 2.50 and 2.50. Negative camber angle next, and that is going to be at the front at 1.0, and then onto the rear, which is 1.5. Toe angle, well, you've got that outwards at 0.05 at the front, and then at the rear, just make sure your icons look like that, it's inwards at 0.05. On the sort of differential side, it's going to be 5, 5, 10 at the front, and then we're going to have 10 again at the rear. Braking sensitivity again is 5, and then it's going to be 5. And then the sort of distribution on the torque is 50-50. I prefer, this to majority of any of the other sort of distributions. Sometimes it upsets the balance of the car. And then the downforce at the front is 100, and at the rear is 210. Because we're running Le Mans, we don't need much downforce. We're running a medium RPM turbo, and then all of this good stuff is normal, so you don't need to change anything there. Pause at any moment. So the event we're going to is in Europe, and obviously it's Le Mans, so this is for more new players that might not know where it is. I believe you have to have majority of the cafe menus done to even access this event, so that's just a heads up. And it's the World Touring Car 700 we're going to head to, and it's going to be a nice easy event for us, so just go ahead and enter that. So this car, being a road car, it runs a bit like the Bugatti that I recently did. So when you get into the event, you want to put your fuel mix to 6, and another nifty little feature you might have noticed is, if you look kind of sort of to the middle right of the screen, is this car has DRS. So it has a drag reduction system. You'll see the spoiler moving about, and that is going to make it insanely fast on the straights. Even when we're running sort of our leanest fuel mix, so it's going to be no problem when it comes to the straights. We're obviously using a low downforce setup. This is because at Le Mans it's mostly straights, and we want to take advantage of that to kind of pull away from the AI. Just some general tips: set the AI on easy so you don't have to worry about them. And when it comes to your clean race bonus, the only time you will lose it, I know I have to say this every video and you're probably all sick of it, the only time you'll lose it is under yellow flag conditions. So if you see a yellow flag, just be very careful and mindful. If you're kind of still in the pack, you shouldn't be at that point, and you probably will never ever see one. At this point in the game, I feel like we've got plenty of strategies kind of nailed down to kind of know that yellow flags are pretty rare. But as you can see, we're already pretty much working our way through the AI, running in some slipstreams. We're gonna get onto the brakes, get past the Mitsubishi here, and then try and work our way up again on the straights with the drag reduction system enabled. I have mine set to L1. I'd recommend you do the same. I believe by default it's like R3, but it's sort of a really awkward positioning for the button. So I put mine on L1 and put my look back at R3. So it just kind of makes it a bit easier to kind of use. So we're not even all the way down the straight yet, and we're already looking at P4, and as you can see, we're going to make short work of him. I'm just sort of playing around with the braking distances. Each car is kind of, you know, a little bit different. The brakes on this thing are very good. The handling's very quick, but, you know, and very twitchy, but it's kind of easy to keep under control. Obviously, we're taking massive advantage of the DRS, and, you know, basically just running around the track, and it's going to be a nice, simple, easy run for me, myself here. You're going to see that, you know, we're going to have a pretty much full dry run. Now, when I say dry run, I don't necessarily mean it's going to be completely dry in every run. Sometimes I'll say it and you'll see a bit of rain, but the way I kind of class a dry run is if I've not had to sort of change my tyres, or the track's not got wet enough to have to really do that. So I'll class it as a, you know, a dry run. So we're working our way past the Corvette and the Dodge, and for some reason the little Suzuki is still out in front and actually pulling away. But we're going to manage to get him as we go through this part of the track. So we're about, you know, nearly 3 minutes into the lap, and we're going to be up in the lead. And we're never going to have to really look back at this point, so it's going to be nice and easy. We're just going to take it around the outside and use our, I guess, better power to basically come out of the corner, and away we go. So I know I say this a lot, but I would 100% argue that you need to watch the weather radar from around about lap 2. So I'd say around about the middle usually, you will need to watch what the weather's doing, because most commonly at Le Mans it will rain on either lap 2 or lap 3. Sometimes you'll get some at the end, but when it's going to come, it's mostly going to be early on. And you just kind of want to, you know, monitor what the weather's doing. As you can see, I've got a little bit coming in, but it's not going to be enough to kind of, you know, move our strategy. As you can see, when it finally hit at the end of lap 2, we're already going into the pits anyway, and I can see the sort of weather formation is quite broken up. So I'm not going to have to, you know, worry about it too much. It's not going to cause me to have to kind of swap over the tyres. So I'm going to box in for my first pit stop of 3. So it's very much like the Bugatti in that sense. If you remember, the Bugatti was about a 2-stop lap, but it's still very, very powerful, and this is kind of along those same lines. Plus you get that, you know, awesome little feature of DRS, which I always think is cool to see. You wouldn't really expect it from a Subaru Impreza, but it's yeah, it's definitely there. So we're going to pit in. We're not going to change our tyres, and we're basically just going to, you know, fill the car to full and get on our way as soon as we can. You may see that AI might, you know, sort of try and challenge us, but they're not going to put much of a fight. We won't have to worry about them too much, because they are, you know, on a, I believe it's like a 2-stop strategy, most of them. As you're going to see, there's the AI, so there he is. He's gone past us. At this point, I'm kind of hoping that the rain would stick around enough, or like stop breaking up, and it would be like, you know, one big formation, because if it rains here, you are pretty much guaranteed a win, because the AI really do struggle. Pretty soon we're going to overtake him, and we're never going to have to look back again. We're just going to gap him at this point. Like I said, I was really hoping it'd really rain, because the AI massively struggle, and if they're in the middle of the track, well, you're going to end up pulling out about a minute to a minute and a half in that one single lap, because they'll spin around, they'll hit all the walls, and it's always good fun kind of watching them. If you ever do catch them doing it at Le Mans, it's one of the funniest things you can see in the game. But the weather sort of moved away pretty quickly on lap 4, and the AI decided, you know what, we're going to box now. So the track's pretty much dry at this point. There's a few sort of splodges of, like, you know, a bit of rain, but it's not to the point where we're going to have to worry about it. It's mostly sort of built up at the side of the track. So end of lap 4, and this is where we're going to take our second pit stop, and the strategy is going to remain the same. So it's going to be nice and easy. Get ourselves in the pits. The weather's sort of missing us now at this point, so we're not going to have to worry about rain for this stint. Again, hard tyres, so you know they're going to pretty much last the whole event. Towards the end, you may feel them get a little bit slippy, but it's never to the point where it's, you know, absolutely awful and uncontrollable. Obviously, this car is insanely, you know, grippy and insanely fast, so thankfully we don't have to worry about tyre wear, and we're basically just going to fill the car to full again and get on our way pretty quickly. Usually this would be your, you know, sort of your last pit stop if it rains. However, you're going to see that we've not had enough rain, obviously. Even at the end, we didn't get the second sort of downpour that you sometimes get. At that point, I could have pretty much just parked the car and waited. So away we go, fuel mix 6 again. You know, you don't have to touch it throughout the whole race, as we've got a few scattered showers about. But we're not having to, you know, worry about that. I feel like Le Mans, I end up becoming a weatherman. So yeah, but as you can see, yeah, the rain's pretty much sort of missing us at this point, just going down the side of the radar. As we sort of cruise along, we've got a minute long gap at this point, and the tyre wear, you know, it's holding up nicely, like I said. We don't have to kind of worry about them too much. As you can see, it's going to get a little bit drifty, but it's never to the point where it's like absolutely awful, and it's the fronts that are wearing mostly, so you know, it's not too bad. And then we're just going to dip in for our last pit stop. Now usually at lap 6, if it rains, you can pretty much sit and wait. However, I'm not going to get that luxury today. With only 3 minutes left, I'm going to have to put myself in the pits. I'm not going to bother changing the tyres, and I'm actually going to put full fuel in, because essentially what I want to do at this point is sprint around the lap as quick as possible to give myself sort of the quickest finishing time. Now, I seem to be getting really unlucky, and I know it sounds really weird to say this, but I seem to be getting unlucky with dry runs. I'm not a big fan of them. I would rather it rain, and yes, while it's more difficult to drive, it is pretty much a guaranteed win. You will have sort of enough time, you know, when you're driving the wet to sit and wait, because the AI, like I said, struggles so much, and I'm sure most of you know just how bad the AI is. But we're going to fill the car to full, and we're just going to turn it up to fuel mix 1 and sort of sprint our way to the finish. So that is our final pit stop done. Sadly, we couldn't do our little stop and wait tactic and waste a bit of time. So as you can see at this point, this car is just drinking fuel. So within 1 lap at fuel mix 1, we've only got like sort of, what, 0.5 of a lap left. As you can see, tyre wear is really starting to kick in now in the last few corners. As we're going to run wide, but we all make mistakes, so I've kind of left that in there. And we're just going to power our way home to finish first with a little wobble. So yeah, nice and easy. Super good car for this track, taking advantage of all them straights. So overall we did a 31:18.456. That's obviously because we couldn't do our little stop and wait tactic. For some reason our fastest lap was the first one, but it never counts that at Le Mans. So according to this, the AI got the fastest lap on lap 2, which we all know didn't happen. But obviously pit stops do affect your lap, and I believe they don't count if you do your pit stop. So 825k, 30 minutes, nice and easy, super simple setup. No reason why you shouldn't look at this car. So welcome to the outro point. This is where I give all my thanks to you guys, because I genuinely do mean it. I know a lot of people just say it and they're raking in like hundreds of thousands a year. I'm not one of them guys. I barely earn anything off of YouTube. I don't actually earn profit at the minute because I'm still building everything up and putting all my money back into the channel to try and improve the content. So hopefully over time that will kind of, you know, maybe pay off for me. But yeah, so channel memberships are up and are a thing. So massive shout out to TicketBait for being our first official channel member. Donation links, they're all in the bio. So if you want to donate and get builds featured and stuff, they're all there. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. I know you all do anyway. Massive thank you to the people that, you know, day in, day out do that. I cannot thank you enough. And yeah, that's kind of it. And I'll see you all in the next one. So take care, guys. I'll see you later, guys. Peace.